make someone happy is by eating pizza. See, I love pizza. Right? It's the trifecta of the food pyramid. Oh, there it is. It's a trifecta of the food pyramid, with carbohydrates, proteins, cheese, vegetables, all sprinkled on top. And as kids today, we are right now developing our own unique identities. What makes you, you, and me, different? But guess what? In biology class, we learned that 99% of human DNA is shared across all species. So, it does not matter your race, gender, or ethnicity. 99% of you is 99% of me. So what makes you, you, and me different is just that tiny 1%. Well then, if my science teacher was correct, that means if I like pizza, then you like pizza as well, and so do you. So question, is there a perfect pizza that can unite all of us? Well, that was a challenge I sought to undertake during my campaign to become a student board member. And my premise was simple. 1, kids love pizza. And 2, if I had the best pizza, that would make me the winner. So I set out to perfect the humble pizza. I tried to make it perfect. You had to think about the sauce, the topping, the dough, everything. But finally one day I had it. My circular, golden, cheesy ticket to success. I was ready to present my idea. I was ready to become the winner of the election. Oh, but guess what? COVID hit. And before I knew it, I was saying hello to online classes. Wow, yay. So, the only word that my mind was capable of thinking was the word chaos. Chaos. I am Xiong, and I've always lived somewhere between order and imagination. My notebooks hide as many sci-fi doodles as mathematical equations, such as the solution to the problem Ellen made me solve. But anyway, I always thought of chaos not as an antonym for order, but as a catalyst. So, you see, even tiny minute changes in a system that we assume is solved, that could lead to drastical, astronomical effects. I mean, look at meteorologists. You rely on them for their weather forecast. But guess what? 50% of the time, they are wrong. However, only through the stillness does the storm remember how to rise. And only through storm, does the sky learn stillness. In other words, to define what chaos means, we must also define what order means. And even if we do that, we still dismiss the complexity chaos entails. So today, I would like to take you on a wild ride. First, let's explore the etymology of the word chaos, how chaos has evolved over time. And then look at the transition between the Black Plague and the Renaissance. And finally, what we as students, as teachers, as parents, what we can learn from chaos. So first, let's open our trusty dictionaries. Chaos is a state of utter confusion, or a state in which chance is supreme. But if you look at the history, it tells us a different story. You see, chaos was originated from the Greek root chaos between the 9th and 12th century CE. Now, chaos basically meant the expanse of space before the creation of the universe, or the void that preceded time. Sci-fi nerds out there will know that this theory of how the universe has come to be has stood the test of time, with religions, sciences, cultures all having a different theory for it, like the theory of the Big Bang. And for the ancient Greeks, their theory on how the world was formed was based on the primordial god Chaos. And he was also the founder or the parent to all further Greek gods. In the play The Birds by the Greek writer Aristophanes, he writes that at the beginning there was only chaos. Night, dark Erebus, deep Tartarus knew no existence. Earth, air, heaven were not there at all. Furthermore, Hesiod, another famous Greek poet, writes as chaos as the first that came to be, which led to the creation of Earth. Now, this was remarkably similar to the Big Bang Theory nowadays. There's a chaotic singularity, and then suddenly, bang! An outburst of everything we now know: space, matter, time, matter, everything, including us. Just take it from astrophysicist Neil deGrasse Tyson, who says we are not figuratively, but literally stardust. And so the definition, the etymology of chaos, tells us the first perspective of the word. Chaos is the state in which possibilities emerge. And I like to think of the same thing when I'm drawing in my free time. You see that blank canvas, that blank piece of paper, that is the universe. In my pencil jabbing it, that would be a series of Big Bangs. Now, if it was a Big Bang, then my creation must be profoundly beautiful. It must be a masterpiece. So naturally, like every other rational thinking artist, I invited my friend over to have a look at it. And here's what he said. That is chaotic. Now, whether he was surprised by my outbursting talent, or he was just amazed at the abstract squiggle, I don't really know. But I always think of chaos. Is it inevitable? It is the inevitable in between the drawing board and the actual prototype. And I'm not the only one who's suggesting this. History tells us a similar story. If you will recall, in the Middle Ages, there was a deadly plague. Yeah, it was chaotic, of course. But guess what? It led to a radical restructuring of society. Between 1347 and 1351, 50% of the European population were killed by this plague known as the Black Plague. Yeah, chaos reigned as millions perished. But at the same time, it allowed for a new order to be established. You see, let me explain this. If you were a worker, and you were working for the manor, or the lord, and you also know that the value of labor is defined by the supply and demand. The supply of human workers goes down, obviously, because most of the workers have died of the plague. That means there's more demand for work. The lords will have to listen to us. I not only have more wages, I also have more societal status. And this radical restructuring of society led to the creation of the middles. And this middle society, this will go on to shape modern Europe for centuries of come. And the Black Plague, it didn't just change how people lived. It didn't just change my wages and my living conditions. It also changed how people thought. What followed was the creative outburst of beauty, creativity, sculptures, literature, everything that was known as the Renaissance. And what better explanation for Renaissance other than through the Renaissance man, Da Vinci? Aside from painting the Mona Lisa and building prototypes for thousands of modern inventions like the helicopter, but Da Vinci, he was a messy thinker. He thrived in a liminal space between chaos and order. And in that space, he created wonder. he saw chaos not as something bad, but as a spark for creativity, curiosity, everything. And so, he and the Renaissance together show us the second perspective of chaos. Chaos is not about destruction, but transformation between what was, what is, and will soon become. So, how can we learn from Da Vinci chaos? Well, really, I don't really need a news source to show you that the world is constantly on the tipping point. One small push and, the Ukrainian war could go one way or another, or other wars. And I think that students, we are kind of in this tornado as well. We're shifting priorities every single day. We have so much homework. We're juggling between chaos and order and late nights. By the same time, neurologists discovered that our brains, which might be soon covered by the scientists over there, they have critical periods. Critical periods where our brain is most flexible, most open-minded, meaning that we can learn so much more and so much faster during these periods. This is part of the reason why we as students learn languages faster than adults. Yeah, take that, adults, we're all better than you. And neurologists, they spent countless years finding this. And I think I had a similar moment. I had this eureka moment when I was studying geometry. Specifically, the circle. Oh, there it is. Now, when you are a child, the circle is a difficult concept to grasp. I mean, just think about it, okay? Not like other squares or rhombuses or whatever. Does it have any vertices? Any sides? No? Oh, okay. Okay. Where does it start? Where does it end? What is it, huh? Oh, I know. It looks like this. So it should be O, right? Okay, it's not O, maybe. It's not O. Okay, I may be wrong. So it's 0 then? Are you telling me that maybe it's 0? Wow, that's so difficult. But then I learned that to understand the circle, we must first understand the basic ratio of the circle, pi. And I thought that pi was a really orderly number. We just gave it that specific Greek symbol because it was so important to understanding the circle. But psych! No! Oh, no. Pi is irrational. Pi is an infinitely repeating, irrational number. And guess what? Something as chaotic as pi. You just needed to find the right place to create meaning. It's like Euler's identity. E to the power of I times pi. So much chaotic numbers, but you plus 1, and it creates meaning. And lastly, I would like to say that even chaotic things, no matter how chaotic you are, just need to look at it from the right perspective to form a meaning. Take it from the psychologist Carl Jung, who says that in all chaos, there's cosmos. In all disorder, a secret order. I would say something. Just like pi, we're all chaotic. And maybe I'm more chaotic than all of you. Because my birthday is on Pi Day. Wow, okay. But just like me, we're not so different, see? We just need to look at ourselves from a different perspective. Like maybe I look at myself from here, and then here, and then I don't even see my face right here. But it doesn't matter, because if you just find the right perspective, we might have meaning. It might bring us meaning. You might find a new order. And that's what I'm telling you today. Think about things from a different perspective. Look at yourself from a different perspective until you can see a place where you fit, a place where you can cause meaning. And while we're looking for that, and while we're failing at it maybe, enjoy some pizza. You'll feel better. Thank you, everyone.